Okay, so you guys have been sending in some really cool stuff, actually. A bunch of Web3 marketing campaigns.
Hmm.
And it seems like everyone's trying to figure out, how are brands kind of updating their digital strategies,
Right.
going beyond like the same old tactics.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's exactly what we're going to dive into today.
for sure.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think Web3 marketing is like this next evolution.
Yeah.
Using tech like blockchain and all these decentralized platforms
Yeah.
to connect with audiences in totally new ways.
Yeah. It's
But
like the next frontier.
yeah, it is. It is.
True.
So our mission today is to break down some of these successful campaigns,
Yeah.
really get into like what makes them work.
Yeah, and we have a handful of like really fascinating examples to look at.
Yeah.
5 to be exact.
Okay, nice.
And they're all like pushing the boundaries in different ways.
Okay, cool.
So we're going to be looking at De Beers and their Tradeart platform,
Okay.
Charles and Keith, and how they're kind of dipping their toes into the crypto payments world. We'll look at some of the brand partnerships happening over in the Sandbox Metaverse.
That's the future.
Yeah, right.
That's where it's at.
Coca-Cola's Friendship Day NFT campaign.
Love that one.
Yeah, and how Audius is using their own tokens to really get their community energized.
Yeah. Yeah. These campaigns offer a great snapshot of the Web3 landscape right now. We're seeing everything from blockchain being used for like radical transparency
Totally.
to gamified experiences and unique digital items
Yeah.
and community-driven rewards.
Yeah, it's really diverse.
Yeah. And what's so cool is how each one tackles a different side of this like constantly changing digital world.
For sure. And we don't just want to like describe what these campaigns are doing. We want to
Totally.
get to like the valuable stuff, the lessons that you guys listening can actually use
Yeah.
to like better understand and maybe even use some of these strategies.
Exactly.
So should we just dive right in?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right, let's start with De Beers and their Trike platform.
All right, great place to start because it shows how even these really well-established industries
Yeah,
are finding cool uses for Web3.
totally.
So De Beers, obviously like a huge name in diamonds, right?
Right.
They launched Trackery as a system built on blockchain.
Okay, so like in a nutshell, what is Track?
So basically, Trackery tracks each diamond like individually
Oh, wow.
from the mine all the way to the store.
Wow.
Yeah, so like the main idea is to prove that the diamond is real and ethically sourced.
And why is that so important?
Well, it's becoming super critical, especially for their business clients,
Okay.
because everyone's under pressure now to show that their supply chains are ethical and sustainable.
Right.
And what's interesting is that Tracker is actually the first blockchain platform in the diamond industry
Oh, wow.
that works at this scale,
Okay.
across De Beers' entire journey from mine to retail.
So blockchain is really the heart of this.
Absolutely.
How does that actually make things more transparent?
So blockchain basically creates this permanent record of each diamond's history, and it can't be tampered with.
Oh, wow.
Think of it like a shared digital ledger.
Okay.
It's almost impossible to mess with because every transaction is linked and verified
Yeah.
across a whole network of computers.
Yeah.
So this makes it transparent because every step, every transaction is recorded
Uh-huh.
and it can be checked independently.
Okay.
So it builds trust, not just with the person buying the diamond,
Right.
but also with those B2B buyers
Yeah.
who need to be sure about the origin and how the diamonds were handled.
That makes a lot of sense, especially with the demand for ethically sourced products,
Exactly.
which we're seeing in every industry these days.
Right. So the big marketing takeaway from De Beers using TradeCat is that transparency,
Yeah.
especially when you use powerful technology like blockchain,
Uh-huh.
can really boost a brand's credibility
Okay.
and make them a leader in their industry.
Right.
De Beers isn't just saying they're ethical, they're actually proving it.
Yeah.
So this campaign shows that addressing the demand for ethical sourcing can be a huge advantage in marketing,
Totally.
especially for B2B.
Okay, so for anyone listening in the B2B world, this means that using blockchain or something similar
Yeah,
to make your supply chain more transparent could be a game changer.
absolutely.
It's not just about checking a box, it's about building strong relationships with clients
Yes,
and making your brand's reputation even better.
for sure.
Okay, let's switch gears and talk about Charles and Keith's decision to start accepting cryptocurrency payments.
Okay.
This one really caught my eye. A fashion retailer accepting Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah, pretty interesting.
What was the strategy behind that?
Well, the main goal was to attract those early tech adopters
Okay.
and position Charles and Keith as a real innovator in retail.
Mm-hmm.
So by offering these digital currency payment
Yeah.
options, they're appealing to people who like cutting-edge tech
Right.
and who see cryptocurrencies as convenient and secure.
So it's not just about the transaction itself, it's
Right.
about the image that it projects for the brand.
Exactly. In such a competitive market, this move helps Charles and Keith stand out.
Okay.
It shows they can adapt to new technology, and it makes them attractive to consumers who are likely to be trendsetters.
Interesting. So it's not just about immediate sales.
Right.
It's about shaping how people see the brand.
Yeah, and setting themselves up for growth in the future.
So what's the big marketing lesson we can learn from this?
Well, I think it shows how important it is to pay attention to new tech trends,
Yeah.
even if they're not mainstream yet.
Right.
Embracing new payment methods like this can be a really powerful way
Okay.
to attract new customers.
Yeah.
And position your brand as a leader in this digital transformation.
And that ultimately leads to a better customer experience and stronger brand loyalty.
For sure.
So for our listeners, this could mean thinking about integrating some of these newer payment technologies.
Yeah.
Even if they're not widely used right now.
Right.
It could be a smart move to get ahead of the curve and show that your business is innovative and aligned with these evolving consumer preferences.
Yeah. But is there a risk of alienating their existing customers
Oh, that's a good point.
by focusing too much on this niche group?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I think while the initial focus might be on attracting these tech-savvy folks,
Yeah.
the bigger message is really about being innovative and adaptable.
Okay.
Brands that are seen as forward-thinking often get respect from all sorts of consumers.
That's true.
The key is in how you communicate it,
Okay.
positioning it as an extra option, not a replacement for the traditional ways.
That makes sense. Okay, let's move on to the metaverse and talk about the brand collaborations happening in the Sandbox.
Oh yeah, the Sandbox.
Metaverse.
This is cool. So for those who aren't as familiar with it,
Yeah.
the metaverse we're talking about here are these shared immersive virtual worlds where users can interact with each other and digital stuff.
Okay.
And in the Sandbox, we've seen some big brands like Snoop Dogg and Atari really making a splash.
Yeah, like Snoop Dogg hosting virtual concerts and Atari creating these interactive spaces with their classic game elements.
Not your typical ad.
Right.
How does this change the relationship between the brand and the audience?
Yeah, it's not just a static billboard or something?
No, it's not.
What do you think?
It's exciting because these partnerships open up these completely new gamified experiences in this virtual world.
Yeah.
Brands can engage with their audiences in ways that are just not possible through traditional marketing.
It's so different.
Yeah, it's immersive, it's interactive, and it encourages users to actively participate with the brand's virtual presence.
Yeah.
And this active engagement can create much deeper, more memorable connections compared to just passively watching ads.
So it's all about creating these interactive participatory experiences.
Exactly. Strategic collaborations in Web3 environments like the Sandbox, combined with gamification, can lead to truly meaningful and lasting interactions. By encouraging people to get involved, brands can strengthen those bonds with their audience in a way that feels more authentic.
Okay, so for anyone thinking about exploring Web3, looking at collaborations in these virtual or gamified spaces could be a really compelling path.
For sure.
Right? Like hosting metaverse events, offering branded digital collectibles, setting up virtual storefronts.
Right.
Anything that encourages that direct interaction and builds long-term loyalty?
Exactly. And Sandbox is getting so much attention.
It is. Why do you think the brand partnerships there are so effective from a marketing perspective?
Well, I think it's the sense of ownership and participation that it gives the user.
Okay.
Instead of just passively watching a billboard.
Yeah.
In the Sandbox, users can own land, interact with branded experiences.
Wow.
And even create their own content using brand elements.
That's cool.
Yeah, so this active role in the brand's virtual ecosystem creates a much stronger connection.
And sense of loyalty. Okay, let's step back from the virtual world for a minute and talk about Coca-Cola's Friendship Day NFT campaign.
Okay.
This is a great example of a well-known brand
Yeah.
using NFTs in a creative way.
For sure. So NFTs are these unique digital assets that prove you own something specific.
Right.
What was Coca-Cola's thinking behind their Friendship Day NFT drop?
Well, their main goal was to celebrate friendship.
Okay.
By creating these exclusive branded digital collectibles.
NFTs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So by releasing a limited number of these unique digital items, they gave their fans a new way to connect with the brand and with each other around this shared idea of friendship.
That's cool. And what about the NFTs themselves? What made them resonate with people?
They were designed really well to incorporate Coca-Cola's iconic imagery and evoke a sense of nostalgia. So they tapped into the emotional connections that people already have with the brand. And by making them limited edition, they added this element of exclusivity and desirability.
So the value wasn't just in owning the digital item. It was about the emotional significance and the feeling of having something unique.
Exactly. For marketers, this campaign shows that digital collectibles can be really powerful for building emotional engagement. By linking these assets to a special occasion like Friendship Day, Coca-Cola turned them into digital symbols of shared moments. And that made the brand more relevant in the digital lives of their consumers, especially those who are digitally native.
So the main takeaway is that digital collectibles can create a strong sense of belonging.
And exclusivity.
Yes, driving brand loyalty, especially among that digitally fluent audience.
Exactly. So if you're a brand trying to strengthen your community, think about launching limited edition digital assets tied to important milestones or values that resonate with your brand. These unique digital experiences can create a strong sense of shared identity and purpose, leading to long-lasting customer loyalty.
That's a fascinating way to build loyalty in this digital age.
Totally. All right, for our final case study, let's look at Audius and how they're using tokens to boost engagement in the music industry.
Audius. Okay, cool.
So Audius is this really innovative, decentralized music platform. Their model basically cuts out the middleman and lets artists share their music directly with listeners using blockchain technology.
Interesting. And how do tokens fit into this?
This is where it gets cool. Both the artists and the fans get rewarded with Audius's own tokens for being active on the platform. So artists earn tokens based on how many times their music is streamed. And fans can earn by sharing tracks and engaging with the music and the community.
So it's like a win-win.
Right. This approach could lead to a fairer way for artists to get paid. And it gives fans a real stake in the platform's success.
So they're not just passive consumers anymore.
Exactly. From a marketing standpoint, Audius shows how powerful decentralized ownership and token-based rewards can be in creating a really engaged and loyal user base.
By directly rewarding participation and giving users a tangible stake in the platform, Audius has built this vibrant community that truly values the platform and the music.
So the key marketing takeaway is all about turning your users into active contributors and brand advocates through these token-based incentives.
Exactly. If you want to boost loyalty and engagement in your own community, think about exploring token-based reward systems.
That's a really interesting concept.
It changes things from passive consumption to active contribution, which deepens their commitment to your brand's mission.
I like that. Okay, so these 5 case studies have given us a really good overview of the different ways Web3 technologies are being used in marketing.
We've seen blockchain making things more transparent, crypto payments, reaching new customers, gamification in the metaverse, creating immersive brand experiences. NFTs building emotional connections. And tokens driving community engagement.
Yeah, the common thread here is the power of Web3. To enhance brand engagement, build trust through transparency, and create stronger customer loyalty.
It's really about making those connections with your audience more meaningful and direct.
And it's clear that Web3 is more than just hype. It offers real tools for creating personalized experiences that resonate with today's consumers.
And as Web3 continues to evolve, it's going to open up even more exciting opportunities for brands.
If they're willing to embrace these new technologies. So the examples we've discussed today, decentralized ownership, digital collectibles, token-based rewards, they all offer a glimpse into how these elements can be used effectively.
So for our listeners, as you think about all these examples, here's something to consider. What's one unexpected way a Web3 strategy could deepen the relationship you have with your audience?
That's a good question.
Pushing beyond traditional marketing approaches.
That's something to think about as you navigate this evolving digital world.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive.
See you next time.